Carrie.
And hello, Doodle and Chat. We are super excited to be here for another Wednesday night of Doodle and Chat.
Yes. I'm so excited to have a guest. I feel like it has been a long time, and I know it hasn't because we just had a guest not that long ago, but it just seems like it's been a long time.
We've had a long window since IdeaCon between guests.
Yes.
Which is kind of a fun little like 360, right?
Yes.
Tonight we have Dr. Desiree Alexander, who we got to doodle and chat with on a mini Doodle and Chat live. Like she sat right between us.
She did sit. So it's going to be a little sad tonight because I really like drawing on one side and you're on the other with the person in between us. But we're going to have fun tonight too. This is always a lot of fun.
And also super excited because she was just fearless when it came to drawing. And I remember like messaging with her before IdeaCon, and I'm like, please come and doodle and chat with us. And she's like, I don't draw. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then she just sat down and she unleashed her drawing and creativity and all of her Desiree-isms on us. It was awesome.
I like the Desiree-isms. Absolutely.
So fun.
It is. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Desiree Alexander, who is joining us tonight. So she is an educator, a speaker, and an author who has supported education since 2022. She holds many degrees and has earned many awards in her service to educators. In our research for her, it was amazing to look at all of the awards that she has won, and rightly so, because she is amazing. She is the founder and CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting, and their mission is to empower educators to discover and amplify the intrinsic desire to become innovators in education. She is also the deputy director of the Associated Professional Educators of Louisiana. Desiree is wonderful about sharing her knowledge and expertise with the world and has an infectious smile when she does it, which is part of what I'm so excited about having her on tonight, is to see that smile. So I'm excited to welcome Dr. Desiree to Doodle and Chat tonight.
Me too. And I think that it's been since 2002, right?
What did I say?
2022.
Of course I did. It is 2002. She's been in education a lot longer than that. And that tells you where my headspace is at tonight. So
just sucked it all in a year, and she's an expert at everything.
She is wonderful in just a year. That makes her even more amazing. So no, 2002.
Yeah. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So awesome. So awesome. So you have survived the bowl that knows already once.
Yes.
And yet you're still back here again.
It was so much fun at IdeaCon. I was nervous because I draw stick people and only stick people. And I was like, I don't know about doodling. I don't, that's not me. But you guys, it was so much fun. You made it so comfortable. I'm back for more.
Awesome. And we couldn't wait, after we got to spend that little bit of time with you. We're like, we have to have more Desiree. We need to spend more time with her and learn all about her. So at IdeaCon, we had some kind of generic questions, and the bowl just unleashed what it wanted to for us, which it was perfect for you too, which was funny. Actually, it was like that for everybody. So we still have our bowl that knows today, except for tonight's bowl has some very special Desiree questions. We've done some research about you and learned all about you. And then there are some other questions in here that are questions that even Mandi and I don't know. I mean, we wrote them, right? A long time ago, but we just pulled them in there.
A long time ago.
And they're random.
Gotcha.
So for all of our friends that are joining here with us with Desiree, we encourage you to put pen to paper and draw along with us. Answer your questions in the comments. We love to hear from you. And we also hope to see Desiree's ready to go. And we also hope to see your Doodle and Chats after the episode airs when you share them out on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Doodle and Chat. So we're going to turn our cameras on so we can draw along with Desiree as she answers the questions. Can we flip that so that we have us underneath? Thanks, kiddo.
We did it.
We did it. All right. So Annabeth is here, our loyal producer.
I miss you, Annabeth.
Miss you too. Aww. It's sweet. Well, you got to be there with Desiree too, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes. All right. Are you ready, kid?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. Time to survive the bullet nose.
Again.
All over again.
All over again.
You have said that sometimes when you travel, you have thought if the apocalypse happened right now, this is who I'd have to survive with. Which 5 people would you want to be stuck with, and who would you most likely to be stuck with?
Oh my goodness. So which 5 people, like in my life, or like famous people, or historic, or just anybody?
So I remember this conversation because I was just like, I knew that I had so much fun talking to you, and then the zombie question came up. And I loved you even more because I'm like love zombies too, and like we had this mutual love for zombies and apocalypse, and you shared this idea that like when you're on an airplane or in a car parked in traffic, you look around to see these would be my people if I was stuck. Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. So I knew we had to come back to this question again. We just couldn't happen, and the bowl gave it to us first. So like, who would you want to be stuck with? Like, what would be 3 or 4 or 5 people you'd want to be stuck with? And then like, who do you think most likely you'd end up being stuck with?
So, I mean, of course, I would think I would want to be stuck with like people who really know me, my friends, my loved ones. So, that's, who I would first and foremost assume that's like the correct answer. But if we're going for like survival, then I would want to have like at least one survivalist, like the people that we look at and we're like, oh, you're crazy. I want one of them with me so they can help me, because I do not like nature. I'm not an outside person. So I need someone to be like, don't drink that, sweetie. Don't eat those berries just because they're round. Because I would be like the first to go. Like, I'm the first dead one. I'm the first one that's going to step on a stick and like have it go through my, like, I'm the first one that's going to be just gone. So I need a survivalist to be with me. So that's the first person I'm going to pick. Maybe 2 survivalists, because then if one is like a mean person and the other one can help me survive. So 2 survivalists, because then one is like, I don't want to deal with Jerry. Samantha, help me out. So 2 survivalists. I want to say like Rick Grimes, but he's not a real person. But I would love Walking Dead Rick Grimes to be with me, like motivate the team and get us all together. So I'm gonna throw Rick Grimes in there. I'm showing my nerd side. I don't know who else. I just need the 2 survivalists and Rick Grimes. You don't want too many people, right? Because then
that's true.
You don't want too many people. Then it gets all democratic and everyone needs a vote. So you don't want too many people in your pack. So I'm gonna pick the 2 survivalists, Rick Grimes, and then I want like a big guy, like a big scary guy to like fend people off and fight the animals. So yeah, that would be my 4 people. I think I'll be the 5th person.
There you go. I like it.
Well, I went ahead and put the loved ones on there because you said loved ones, so we'll let them go.
I think if it's like a desert island, then I absolutely would pick all my loved ones, because then you have to like talk. But if it's like survivalist, then I need people that's gonna help me survive. Like, we got to get down to business at that point.
That is true.
You definitely want, I love the survivalist. I don't know that I would have thought of that answer to that question, but you definitely, like, now I know that's the answer to my question. My response is usually anybody who runs slower than I do.
You want them to get caught first. So then that can only work for so long, right? Like,
yeah, and then I am the slowest person.
Then you are that person. So yeah.
Once the first person goes down, it's all over from there. So
right.
That is true.
So I say that's not long-term planning. That's short-term planning.
So what I hear you saying is that's not good planning.
That's not good planning.
You're still going out pretty quick there, Mandi.
Well, it's true. like I've already said, listen, if there is a zombie apocalypse, if I do not have a whole lot of protection from the beginning and I just don't have to leave my house, done for. They're getting me.
Yeah.
I just know that ahead of time.
Yeah. Make peace with it.
That's right.
Yep. Set up a nice little dinner table.
Yeah.
I'm good. We got whatever happens.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, you know, who would you be? You know, would we be mild mannered like we are now, and then all of a sudden it would come and we would become this other person, you know, that was tougher than we thought we were. Annabeth and I have had this discussion. Annabeth's like, I'm done. I don't even want to survive it. Like,
That's me.
zombies hit. I really just want to be done. Like, I don't want
I
to.
can't do
Who
it.
wants to live through that? She said. Who wants to live through that,
I've
Mom?
seen The Walking Dead. What did they live 10 years and nothing happened? Like, I don't want to wait that out.
Yeah. Then you have to like rebuild society. Who has time? Who has
And
all
listen,
that work ethic?
I don't know that I want to eat the chocolate pudding out of the cupboard that's been there for 6 months.
Or the dog food when you're pregnant. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
I don't think
disgusting.
I want to do that. I don't
Yeah.
think I want to do that. I mean, maybe I would, but that episode with the chocolate pudding, I was like,
I'm done.
not doing that.
done,
That is true. And then you got bullies all over again, you know, like, didn't we get, wasn't it like, you got, yeah. I don't know.
All the
Yeah,
reasons.
I'm with that. But that's what's so fascinating about a lot of the like more recent zombie like shows and movies, because it does test like who are you really underneath everything else. So that's what I mean. It's not like the zombies themselves, even though if you look at like the artistic of creating the zombies and stuff, that's pretty awesome too. But the human element of it all is what's so interesting.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to watch society as a whole, how they predict things will happen. It doesn't weigh very well on society. how
history repeats itself, right? No matter where we start, no matter how we build it down, that human element will always happen. You always have to have somebody under you. You always have to have somebody that's lower than you, and that you look down. Like it is, we repeat the same issues over and over and over, and it's fascinating to see.
Yeah, it is fascinating and a little disheartening, but also fascinating. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy we got to talk about zombies.
Yeah.
It's a great first question.
It was.
Okay, your next question is, what is your favorite memory of growing up as an army brat?
Just all of the people that you meet. I think I would say the best thing is that at least growing up as an army brat, you really get to see a lot of different nationalities, a lot of different races, a lot of different people. And it was one of those things where when I first got introduced to like people having a problem with interracial couples and people having a problem was outside of the military. And I would say like, well, what's the problem with that? Because you hardly saw same race couples in the military. Like everybody had, a Filipino mom and a, Korean dad. And it just was normal. And so it's just like, well, what's the problem with it? And I just didn't get it. So I think that just growing up with that, and again, that's growing up in it, not being in it, right? Because I'm sure it was different for the adults, right? But for the kid, it's like, okay, great, let's move on. So I think that was a definite benefit of growing up as an army brat, just being able to meet so many different types of people and just them just being people. Like it wasn't a big deal. You just grew up together, like you all had the same kind of mindset, the same fight, especially when your parent was overseas or anything like that. Like you were all dealing with the same stuff, so you were almost dealing with things that are a little bit heavier, so you didn't have time for a lot of the pettiness type of stuff. So I think that would be my biggest, greatest kind of memory of growing up as an army brat.
That's interesting. I guess that's probably something that people outside of that type of experience forget about. Like there's a unified experience that you all have, right?
Right.
And a cause that you have. And did you find that it was a more family dynamic, or was, I mean, because I don't have
Definitely family dynamic, like definitely family dynamic. And then as I grew older, because we left the base, because I think I lived on 3 bases that I can remember. And we left the base when I was going into my second half of my 4th grade year. So as I got older, I started to see things like rank. And, you know, when you're younger, you don't really, you know, but I started to see, like, you know, on your house, my dad was an E7 and that meant something, you know, so I started to see the little, you know, cracks, you could say, like in the system, and the little like ranks. And if you were new, you stayed on this side. And if you were more established, you stayed on. So I started to kind of see and then we left. So, you know, for me, it's like still Pollyanna. Everything was awesome. But, you know, I did start to see the little classism that, you know, is part of the military.
Sure. That makes sense.
How did teaching history and then English to middle school students as a first-year teacher change what you thought about yourself and about teaching?
Well, actually, I did not teach history.
I thought I heard you say that you started as an English teacher, right? No, your first year you got a job as a history teacher, right?
I did.
But you never actually taught history?
No. That's why I'm like laughing. I'm like, ha. So what had happened was I got a job. I only wanted to teach seniors in high school. I thought no one else could handle my intelligence. I wanted British lit. No one else could deal with me. That was my little college self. And I got a job at a middle school because the university I went to, LSU, they had a program with a local middle school where they would try to get new teachers to go there. And I was certified, but I was still working for Residential Life. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go save your school kind of thing. So I went there, taught 6th grade, and they hired me as a social studies teacher. And I was like, I'm certified in English. My whole life has been English. And they're like, well, we need social studies, and that's why you're here. And I'm like, okay. So one day, my principal was in the hallway, and this is just complete kismet. My principal was in the hallway, and I heard her say, well, now we need an English teacher. And so I walked up behind her and I kind of tapped her on the shoulder, and I was like, I'm certified English. And so literally she like looked at me and she turned around and said, now we need a history teacher. And that's how I started teaching English. So I was hired as a history teacher, and just kismet, I was walking by at the right time. And so I've always taught English.
And so how did that first year experience then change what you originally thought of being a teacher? Because you said that you have always wanted to be a teacher since forever you could remember, correct?
Absolutely. Never wanted to be anything else. You know, you always like kind of like, I can do, because I'm kind of still really big into entertainment and movies and TV. So I was like, maybe I could do mass comm, or maybe I can, you know, be a director. But like, truthfully, always my path was education. I never even ventured out into anything else. And then I realized I am an actor and a director, and you do all that when you're teaching. But my first year taught me a lot, just because I didn't want to teach middle school. That wasn't even on my radar, and I completely fell in love with it. All of my students were, most really, except for one of my students, were very impoverished, very like all of them were, it was 6th grade, and they were like 14 and up my first couple of years. And but just, you know, I just saw the heart. I just saw that they, you know, they wanted opportunities. They wanted to do things. A lot of them just didn't see opportunity. So it just taught me a lot about empathy. It taught me a lot about teaching is not just from the book, right? Teaching is not just in the curriculum, that you cannot teach the child if you don't know the child. It taught me about homogeny, that just because a lot of us look the same doesn't mean we have the same experiences. It just taught me a lot of lessons, to be completely honest. And the good thing is I learned a lot of them pretty quickly, because it was either that or not surviving pretty much in that environment. So yeah, I'm so grateful to my students for teaching me so many lessons that first year. We definitely taught each other.
Yeah. Sixth grade is I feel like sixth grade is such a special age too. Because I've always taught middle school as well, in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. And I started off as a sixth grade resource teacher, and now I teach sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. It's just, it's a very, sixth graders are just, they're so shiny, and they want to connect with you, and they want to do more, and they're just, they're so available.
Yeah.
For you, giving them opportunities to learn how to do more and to be what they want to be,
Yeah. And when my third year teaching, when my school was a half magnet, half not, and I taught the traditional students, and then my school moved into all magnet my third year, and I got true sixth graders, like 10 and 11-year-olds, and I was like, who are you people? Like, why are you so short and you don't know how? I remember it was like the first week of school, maybe probably the first day, and we had lockers, and they were just like, and I was like, well, do you not know how to use a lock? Like, I asked, getting frustrated, and they were like, no, we've never had locks before. And I was like, I am dealing with a whole different population of people. Like, I'm like, these are like true sixth grade, like they're children. So it was like my first year teaching again. It was a whole different environment. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting age. You have to be a little bit crazy to teach middle school. If you're gonna have fun with it, you have to be a little bit, because they change. Somebody said, they change from day to day. I was like, what students do you have? Mine changed from like minute to minute. You got a whole day of the same emotion? That's awesome. I want to go teach in your school. I was like, the whole day? Yeah, so it was just, they taught, like, I have such fond memories of all my students. I just love them to death. So yeah, but they are, it's such a weird age. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm with you. I think that often as I'm watching students in the hallway, I'm like, this is such a weird age. It's such a weird age. It's so hard to be that age,
Yeah.
Because everything's changing and
everything. And I always told them I would never teach seventh grade, and I stuck to that.
Yeah, seventh grade. I never thought I would really enjoy seventh grade. Seventh grade's a tough year. Like those hormones just go up, and it's just an emotionally, I think, year that often students can have some instability, and it's just really hard for some students to make it through. And then eighth graders are just ready to be done with middle school.
Well, they're the kings of the school, right? So I can do it with eighth grade, and I can do it with sixth grade. And when my sixth graders at the end of the year, when they would start, I'm like, y'all are turning into seventh graders, and I don't deal with seventh graders. Like I would tell them, like, y'all are getting there. I don't deal with seventh graders. Yeah.
But I've never really had, up until this year, I've never really had an extreme fondness for eighth graders, because they really are just ready to be themselves, and it's really hard to try to convince them or try to motivate them for change, because they really know what they want. But this year I have a couple eighth graders, and I'm like, I could teach freshmen. Maybe.
Yeah. I was very afraid to go to high school. And when I did, I was like, y'all are just big middle schoolers. Come here. I love you.
There's and Mandi teaches high school. There must be a fun adultism to it. Like it's a plus and a minus, I'm sure.
Yes.
Freshmen, because I've also
much more serious. It's much more like, this is my content, leave me alone. Like it's much more to, but they're just big middle schoolers. Like y'all are just oversized middle schoolers. Let's go. So yeah, I have fun. I was afraid, but I had a ball with my high schoolers.
Yep. Taught freshmen. I also have taught middle school, and freshmen are just big middle schoolers.
Yep.
Okay.
So I tell them, I said, when you enter, I'm accepting some middle school, but when you leave at the end of the year, I'm gonna need to see some high school.
Right. And that's a good way to frame it for them, though. That's a good way to frame it for them.
Fun ages. Fun. All right, you ready, lady?
Yeah. What does your perfect breakfast look like?
Ooh, a random question. Are you a breakfast person?
I'm not a huge breakfast person. I usually just like eat a banana and that was it. Or I just kind of go without and I do lunch and dinner. But perfect breakfast would be an ham and cheese omelet.
Ooh.
But I don't eat any other eggs. So I'm weird. I'm that weird person. It's like, you know, an omelet is eggs, right? But if you give me like scrambled eggs, I'm like, no. But ham and cheese omelet with bacon, sausage, maybe like one piece of sausage, bacon definitely, and hash browns with syrup on everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be perfect. Yeah.
I cannot let my syrup touch everything.
Just pour it on the whole plate. Like just pour it on the napkin. Pour it on everything. Give me a cup of it to drink. I'm good. I'm good with the syrup.
So, listen, I'm with you. And here's the weird thing. Like, I do not like my food to touch. Like, I do not like my food to touch. But if it's syrup with breakfast, like, I will pour it on my pancakes or whatever we're having and let it run and make sure it gets on my eggs and make sure it gets on my bacon or my sausage, whatever we're having. Now, I don't like it on my potatoes. Like, I'm okay if it doesn't get to the potatoes. But yeah.
That makes sense.
Are you a coffee drinker, Desiree?
I have never tasted coffee.
Okay.
I've never tasted coffee. I mean, like, it smells incredible. I love the smell of coffee. And I know the ones that people get with like all the foam and this. I mean, it looks really awesome. But I've never tasted coffee. I just can't. And people will say, like, we can't even imagine you on coffee. Just stay away. I'm like, I know. I have enough. Like, I just go crazy now. I can't imagine putting some caffeine in here. But yeah.
So then are you a tea drinker or juice drinker?
Don't drink tea either. I am huge on the water.
Nice.
Just big water drink is pretty much all I drink. I gave up soda when I was in college. And I've never gone back. So yeah, I'm really boring. Like the most juice I'll drink is maybe apple juice. And that's like every night. Like I like my water.
No, that's awesome.
And I eat so badly. I'm like, that's the only thing probably keeping me alive. It's like the tape of my body is my water. The tape of my body is water. It's like, well, at least you're doing something right.
That is funny. Enjoyed drawing that breakfast. That was a good breakfast to draw.
Although her omelet looks more like a burrito, but there's syrup all over everything. Even Desiree, there's syrup.
There you go. I like it.
I haven't tried for the syrup. I'm not really sure what to do with the syrup. I might just put a syrup bottle.
That's what I did. Otherwise, it's not going to look like anything.
Yep. What kind of syrup?
I'm really not picky. Yeah, yeah. You call it syrup, I'm gonna pour it on everything. Hopefully it's right.
Nice.
Now jelly, I do like grape jelly over everything else. So if you don't have grape, I get kind of angry. But yeah. I'm like, but it's grape. It's the most popular. Why don't you have grape? And they're like, strawberries the most. I'm like, no, it's not. It's grape. So yeah, I like my grape jelly.
All right. Oh, Carrie, what are you doing there?
Drawing some grape jelly.
Nice. I am a fan of the grape jelly.
I am not a fan of the grape jelly.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry.
But see, that's the perfect people to go to breakfast with, because you're like, give me your grape jelly. No, I have extra grape jelly.
Yes, that's true. That's true. My husband loves grape jelly, and my husband loves ham and cheese omelets. So,
oh, yay!
I'm familiar with the palate.
Perfect. My friends and family know, like, if we're going to dinner, if we do, I will eat anything that the kids eat. Like, that's my menu. Like, don't give me a steak. Don't, like, just, I'm like, do you have any chicken nuggets? I'm like, really? I'm eating whatever the kids are eating. That's my palate. Very sophisticated me.
There are some solid chicken tenders out there, you know?
There are.
And fries are always good, you know?
You know, you shouldn't be able to go wrong, but sometimes they do.
That's true. That is true, too. You'd think that you can't go wrong with fries and chicken nugget tenders, but they still do sometimes.
Yeah, I know when swearing it was like a what do you call that? Club sandwich. More like literally, you don't even have to cook. Like, you can't go that wrong with a club. And they somehow did. I was like, really? I didn't even get a club sandwich. So yeah. Yeah, they'll surprise you.
All right, you ready, kid? Oh, what? Oh, it's really hard work pulling the questions out of the bowl.
Working on my muscles.
It's challenging tonight.
You have said in the past that my goal is always to give educators permission to be better. How do you do that?
I think by and I would revise the word like permission, because I think that's a little harsh. I would say, and I may have said it definitely, but like I would say give them space.
I like that.
To be better. I think permission is like I am giving them something, and that's not at all what's happening. So I would say, the space to be better. And if I did say permission, I'm thinking of it in the way of like you can help yourself. I tell my teachers, don't wait for someone to give you permission to learn. Don't, because I have teachers that say, well, I really want to learn that, but my school doesn't offer it. And I'm like, who cares? Go learn it. Like, don't wait for someone to give you permission to grow yourself and to do better, to be better. And the only way you do that is by learning. Like, it's not going to just happen. And people ask me like, well, how did you get, these skills? I learned them. I wasn't born with them. It's not, and like I said, like even with like tech tools and all that kind of stuff, no one can take pride in knowing how to use a tech tool unless you created it. Like, let's stop with the look, I learned this new trick and I'm so proud of myself. Why? You learned it. Like everybody else is gonna learn it. Like, let's stop with the ego. So just now if you created it, you can have all the ego you want to. That was awesome. Thank you for creating it. But if you didn't create it, like let's get over ourselves. So just giving teachers the space, and I hate to even use that word giving, right? I keep kind of going back like, I hate to use that because words matter. So I hate saying like giving, like I have something to give. No, they already have the space. They already have it in them. Just maybe
encouraging
it to them, like like saying, like it's there. You have the capacity to do anything you really want to do. It's just what pathway is right for you. Because just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean that's your pathway. Even though, you may want what they have and all that kind of, who cares? Like, if it's not your pathway, it's not your pathway. So what do you really want to learn? What's going to make you a better teacher? What's going to make you a better person? So I think that's how I would answer that. So instead of it being like permission, just being that person they can come to talk things through, being that person they can come to ask for help without feeling judged. That kind of thing. And that's why I do, because people have told me, why do you do the newsletter? Why do you do all these webinars? Like, you don't get paid for it. It's just because people want it, and people like, like everything is, if I don't want to do it, then I won't, but I want to. And I like giving educators that information, because in this space, sometimes information is not shared equally, and people in the know stay in the know, and everybody else just does not know. So that's why I like the newsletter, where I can say, look, I just learned this new thing, or I just learned of this opportunity. I don't want the opportunity, but somebody in my readership may want the opportunity. So I love that. I love just the sharing of education. It's just, that's what makes me happy. That's what brings me joy, is the sharing of everything.
I like that term, sharing. I think I don't think we hear that enough in education. I mean, I think that drives Mandi and I, so we can definitely, relate with what you say. Our goal is to share as many ideas as we can, with drawing. But I feel like as educators, that's probably what fills us up the most too, is the sharing that we get to do. Like, right, we're sharing information and knowledge. We're sharing our skills with our students to hopefully bring out the best of them, right?
Right.
I like that. I like the sharing. I like that.
Because if we're not in this game to build better people, like, I feel like that could be the tagline for education: build better people. Like, building ourselves, building others. Like that. If we're not in it for that, then why are we here?
Agreed. 100%.
And that goes, I mean, you're talking about the educator sharing, which, by the way, I absolutely love that. I tell people all the time. I share my knowledge because I want to help people get better. That is why I do it. I share it because I want to get better. And I had somebody reach out to me. This is the first time, and I've shared on my blogs freely for a very long time. And I had, for the first time a couple weeks ago, somebody reach out and say, hey, your stuff is really cool. Can I sell it on Teachers Pay Teachers?
Can you sell it?
And I almost didn't know how to respond. And I said, thank you for, having interest in my product. I provide it for free for educators because I want to help them get better. Please honor that. And she replied, she said, that's okay. I'll just remake it. And so, I mean, maybe people say yes. But when I started out, I couldn't afford stuff like that. Like, I didn't have the money to go to Teachers Pay Teachers and find things. And so I started making it myself, and then realized other people can benefit from this. So I want them to. And that's why that word sharing, when you said that, I was like, oh, that touches my heart, because that's exactly how I feel. I want to share with others so we get better, because that's kind of how this works.
I think I responded like, sure, here's my PayPal that the money can go into. Like,
before that. So,
like, what do you think is happening? Like, what?
Well, so I have this person's name. I can definitely go find them and be like, report, that is mine. But I was baffled. I've never had that happen before. This is the first time.
I've definitely had, like, I have found, like, people have sent me stuff like, Desiree, this looks like your stuff. And I'm like, because it is. So it definitely has happened, but
Yeah.
I've also gotten like people to email and go, well, can I use this in my presentation? But not like, can I steal it and make money from it? Like, I've never had anyone.
Yeah.
People are very bold, and People like that are very like not empowered. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Emboldened.
They're just very
Entitled.
privileged.
Entitled.
Like they're very privileged. They just think
Yeah.
like, well, I should be able to I should be able to take your stuff and sell it. What's wrong with
Yeah.
that? Like, just what world are we like? Just
I know. I was baffled by that too. I was very shocked, but I made them know that I really want to help people for free. You know, that's why I provide what I do on my website. I have a disclaimer on everything that I shared. This is free. Please do not sell it. Please do not, share it with others, but please don't steal it. Don't take it. And so I was very tickled. But I
saw that response for her to be like, well, I'll just steal it. Okay, cool.
My cousin is also an educator. So just a quick story. And she texted me one day, she's with a screenshot of this person's presentation. And she said, I'm sitting here in this presentation and this activity comes up that this lady's telling me that she's made. And she's like, it's yours because you shared it with me when you made it. And she's like, should I raise my hand and say, that's not yours? I said, no, that's fine. You don't have to confront her about it. And she's like, I don't mind that she's sharing it, which I didn't either. That's
right. I mean, you put it out there for them to share. Like, for
like, that is my cousin's. Like, I know that's hers.
How hard is it to say, like, hey, I got this from this website?
Right, absolutely.
I got, oh my goodness, go follow Mandi. She shares amazing. Yeah. Like, how hard is it to say that?
I mean, didn't even like use my activity and make her own for her class. Like, it was my activity because it had my Bitmoji in it.
I was just about to say, probably like your face on.
It had my Bitmoji in it, and my cousin's like, "This is yours." Like, it is mine.
Not even your Bitmoji. Like, what is wrong? I don't like that kind of stuff. There, to me, there's no excuse. Like, you're a garbage person. You're a garbage person.
I looked at it and I told my cousin, I said, the good news is other people got to see it and it's helping other people because you said sharing, and it, like I said, just speaks to my heart so much because that's what I want. I want to be able to share with others. And so I spun that in a positive direction and said, look, she was sharing.
And the thing is, if you put it online, whether it's like, I have some classes that I sell, right? I have some classes but if you put it online, it can be stuck. Like, it's just, you have to get over that. You have, like, you can always say, protect it as much as you can. I'm not saying really, free willy, but just, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, if you put it out there, somebody can put their name on it and say, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like,
it is.
And if you like get upset every time, you got to choose your battles. Like,
you sure do. You sure do.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what education
is.
And
you always just hope that when those people do those things, it becomes apparent eventually they're just doing it for the wrong reason, and then if you just keep on your path, right? That's what I try to remind myself.
Yeah.
But I remember the days of like not being able to afford those things. And I think that's what Mandi and I, and probably Desiree, we know those feelings of not having that. And then when you're ready, we can offer, paid opportunities for that you want to pay us. But it's just hard being a human being. It's hard being a teacher, so, I don't know.
It is. But, there are so many giving people in the education world. That is what drew me to Twitter in the first place. So many people were just willing to help, were willing to give. And I grew so quickly as an educator on Twitter because of the willingness of others to just share their knowledge and to share their resources and to be help. I mean, I'll never forget, I reached out to somebody, turns out it was Matt Miller, and said, hey, I saw this activity. I love it. Here's what I'd like to do. And like, he was all in and just helped me with it. And away we went. And so I love the community.
Yeah.
And I think everything you said, and I know what you do. I know how you share. You share all the time. So
thank you. But I'm going to tell people, like, if you see something, reach out to that person and say, like, hey, what's up? You're either going to get a yes or a no. Like, that's just life. Like, you're either going to get like, well, no. And then you just move on. Because, I mean, educators, you throw a rock and you hit an educator. So, go ask that educator. Like, it's not a big deal. Just leave that person alone and go ask another one. And they're going to have an answer for you. So, yeah. Absolutely. It's part of our community, and it's also, unfortunately, is a part of why we're used so much as well, right? It's a part of,
it is. There's a downside to it for
it's
sure.
a downside to it. It's a downside to it. It's a part of why, that's why I don't like the myth of the superhero teacher. I'm like, no, we're not superheroes. We're humans. We're humans that do extraordinary things, but a superhero doesn't need money. They don't need time. They don't need space. They don't need sleep. No, I'm not a superhero. Stop calling me that. I'm not. I'm a human that does extraordinary things. Because people get that in their mind. I just read something. I was like, oh, because it was a teacher pay raise that wasn't a teacher, like not pay raise, tax that didn't go through, and someone commented, oh, it's so sad that teachers are just in it for money these days and not for. And I'm like, it's a profession. Like, do you go to work and just be like, nah, don't pay me?
I know.
I don't know. Do whatever you do. But I'm like, no, like, sweetie, stop it. So just, unfortunately, that sharing and caring that is villainized. Like, people use it, not villainized, I guess, but people use it almost like taking kindness for a weakness, right? And they
take advantage of it. Yeah, for sure. They take advantage of it, and then when we're not that way, then they use it against us.
Yeah, it's
right?
like, what?
Yeah.
You want to get up out the dirt? What? Like, it's like, yeah, I would like to get up if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's tough right now.
From make and take classes at the
Broadmoor Branch Library
to over 350 free webinars and 5-minute tips, why is giving back and providing these resources to educators so important to you?
Well, I guess we just gave a stat to the.
I want some of your
annotation. What's that?
I was like, I want my stats. I was like, oh, is that my? I'm gonna write down my stats. That's awesome. I never counted. I don't know how many it is.
You have over 350 videos on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Pretty amazing.
I should know that. What was the question though? I got like.
It was basically what you just talked about why sharing.
Oh, okay.
Was so important. The library part was just us, like me, just shining all my research skills on you.
I see that. I was like, oh, the Broadmoor Library. You went back. That was pre-COVID. I love it.
But I think the thing that besides the sharing that you talked about, I think the thing that starts to emerge with, I know you do it so well now, and Mandi and I continue to hope to do it, is the more you give out and the more you share, it gives you an opportunity to then welcome people to your platform so that they can amplify their voice. And I feel like that is like the second tier that makes us feel just so really good about the work that we do, right?
Yes. So when I first started doing like the classes at the library and all this stuff, everything was me. Even when I started my webinar series, I taught once a month my webinar series, and I was before the pandemic and everything. And I think somebody asked me about one. I'm not going to quote history, but I think somebody asked me like, hey, can I do one? And I was like light bulb moment. Why am I doing all of this? Like, there's so many people out there that know stuff that I don't know. Why am I doing all of this with my, limited knowledge? Because we all have limited knowledge, right? So I was like, why am I doing all of this? And then that's when I started inviting people and going, well, I don't know this. Can you come teach about this? And I want to learn this. Can you come teach about this? So some of those classes are absolutely selfish because I'm like, I want to know about formula. Catherine, come teach us formula. So that's where it started. And then it just became this really blossoming flower of more and more people wanting to share with other people. It's almost like comedians, like testing out new material. Like they're like, hey, I have to go to ISTE. Can I test out my presentation? I'm like, come on. And then it became like almost every weekend now. So it used to be like once a month, and I would stick to the. But now, like, I don't want to turn people away. Like, I want to, like, yeah, we'll fit you in, on this day, and it just be like some months we have every weekend we have a webinar, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. And people will come and be like, so it's all like technology? I'm like, no, it's all kinds of stuff. It's foreign languages, it's counseling, it's self-care, it's mindfulness, it's equity. It's just, it's not, just ed tech, and because that's not just what I do. I do leadership and all this other stuff. So it's just been mind-blowing how it's grown. And then, like, sometimes before the pandemic, it would be me and the presenter. And I was like, just present to me and we'll record it. And then the pandemic happened. And it was like 300 people would show up. And I was like, this is awesome. So now we kind of like simmered down a little bit again. So now we have like 25 people that'll show up in person. And then, which is still, amazing for a free webinar on a Saturday. And then, a lot will watch it on the YouTube channel. So, I feel like it's way beyond me at this point. Like it's not about me. It's way beyond me. And I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. It's awesome to see. And you have one coming up this Saturday, right? For anybody who's watching.
Yes, I have Victoria Thompson, who is just always said, like, if you don't know her, are you living? Like, are you really alive? So she's going to come and talk about digital storytelling this Saturday. Yep.
Fun. And anybody who's here and wants to learn more can go just search your name on YouTube, right?
Yeah, they can go to educatoralexander.com. So educatoralexander.com. They can click on YouTube from there. They can click on newsletter from there. They can click on upcoming events and see all the webinars that are coming up. So yeah, I always say, if you want to get to anything from me, if you just go to the website, it's on there. All my social media, everything's on the website.
Awesome. And I know we put links to a bunch of the stuff that is all Desiree in the show notes too, so people can connect with you there too, which is awesome. Yay. I think we have time for one, and I think maybe I have room to squeeze in one more question. Did you get any drawing in, Desiree?
I did. It's not good, but I did get some some hearts and some words. That's about the most I got.
Hold on, Desiree. Show us again so we can zoom in.
Okay. Some hearts and some squiggly lines and some of the stuff we talked about.
Oh, I like that.
That's as good as you're gonna get.
I love it. That's good.
I feel like it's a good representation of you. You have your heart, and then it kind of ripples out, right?
Oh, see, you're so much more. I'm like, it's a heart and some lines.
But that's what I see.
I like it. Yeah.
You have a ripple effect.
Yay. See, and that's what I meant. That's what I meant by this.
Subconsciously, that's what she was doing.
Yes. Thank you for getting my meaning of this picture.
You're so welcome. I still think we have time for one more question. Okay.
I trust you.
Okay.
What TV channel doesn't exist but really should?
Okay, I'm gonna be completely egotistical right now, and it's gonna be the Desiree channel, and it has all of my favorite stuff on it. I don't care if anybody else watches it; it should exist, and I would love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, what would be the top 3 shows that Desiree would be on the Desiree network?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I just do it from my favorite shows, I'm gonna say Friends, The Office. Oh, it's so hard to pick only 3. Maybe Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah,
because it's hard. It's I'm thinking of the stuff I just watch constantly. I just watch all the time. But then I'm leaving off Family Guy. I watch that all the time. That's one I don't always admit, but I do love my Family Guy. So yeah, those are the top 3.
I love it.
I would be watching the Desiree channel as well.
Yay! See?
I probably would too. Yeah.
People would like the Desiree channel. They would.
People would like the Desiree channel.
See, they would like it. They would like it. And we'll throw in some Call the Midwife drama, and we'll throw in some other stuff. But They would like my channel.
They would.
It would be a hit. I really do think it would be.
I love it. That was a great question.
That was a good one to end on.
It was.
Yes. Anything dealing with TV, movie, like I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Nice. All right. Do we want to just give a quick zoom in on mine and then Mandi's so our friends can see?
Oh, wow.
I'll take a better picture of it when we but it's everything Desiree from
That
Flowers.
is awesome. I love it. Oh, look at my face. I love it.
I like the green too. That's a good color.
It pops. I love it. Y'all are awesome. Y'all definitely deserve Doodle and Chat. Y'all are awesome with the doodling.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. We really just love to have people on here and talk to people.
Yes.
The fact that we get to doodle is just like an added triple bonus for us. But we also just really want people to know about the educators that we know and just shine a light on how really amazing people are. And tonight it was you. So
well, I love that you guys like my podcast would be like sit awkwardly in chat. So it'd just be like us sitting looking at each other. So this is awesome. This is awesome. Doodle and Chat is much better than sit awkwardly in chat. And I thank y'all so much for not only like having this platform and doing it, but also inviting me on it. So thank you so much.
You are
Listen, if you ever have the Sit Awkwardly in Chat podcast, like I'm going to need to watch that because I'm actually picturing this now and this is amazing. So.
I'm going to do it now just to have it, just see what happens.
I mean, actually, it would be super fun to draw too. I mean, it would be just to draw awkwardness would be just hysterical.
Just sitting there between questions, just looking at each other like, we're coming. We're coming with another one in a second. That would be awesome.
Give us a second. The awkward level has not hit high enough.
Right. We need to
pause for just a second.
Ramp it up for a second. Give it a second.
Well, thank you so much, Desiree. And for anybody who's joining us here on Doodle and Chat, if you were here and you drew with us, please be sure to snap a picture of your Doodle and Chat and share it out on Instagram or Twitter using hashtag Doodle and Chat so we can share with everybody all the fun that we have here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, guys.